Hey everyone, today we have a culvert pipe completely clogged. We're gonna see if this is something we can do or not. See how far underwater it is. Got my boots on. Let's take a look. It looks like this happens pretty often, the water going over the road. That's why they put all this rock here. There's an old satellite dish right there, smashed on that tree. So this is one that you'd not want to touch. You see the circular motion right here? That's the culvert circling right there. I think that the pipe is just severely undersized. I don't think there's probably much of a blockage at all. Of course, because it's flooding, there's probably some stuff in front of the culvert, but probably not enough where if we were to remove it, things would be going through it. It looks like it was flooding over here even worse earlier. That grass is pushed over, so the flood was worse. That's probably what that sand is right here, maybe. The sand might also be just from them salting and sanding the roads to stop ice. This is slipping a little bit. Let's get down inside here for a moment. I just want to see how big the pipe is. Alright, so it is a pretty big pipe. It does not look like it's at capacity, so we're going to go ahead and get the rake out and see if we can improve it a little bit at least. Alright everyone, I went ahead and got the rake out. We're going to give this a shot to try to open up a little bit more of that pipe. That looks like a 4-foot pipe, maybe 3.5. We're going to see if we can get it open a little more. Still seems undersized for this area by the evidence over there. The grass is all pushed over. This road was underwater a lot more earlier. Nice log cabin up there on the hill. Now let's see what we can do. I want to see exactly where the pipe is. Just about where the whirlpool is. So we're gonna reach around in there. Maybe the whirlpool will get a little bigger. Maybe it won't. I'm just gonna set you guys up right here. Hopefully a car driving through doesn't splash us too much. Let's see if we can get anything done. I'm not feeling anything. Chances are the debris is down at the bottom part of the pipe, and there's so much current forcing through the upper sections that we just cannot get down there. I stick the rake down, it tries to suck it right on in. So give it a couple hours, this water will probably be receded down below the road, and maybe on the way home we can check it out again. We're gonna keep going and looking for more flood issues today. Today is March 7th, 2024. Had a bunch of heavy rain, so I drove into New Hampshire today to see if there's anything we can do. Here comes one truck. this guy went really slow. All right, everyone, I tried what I could. We'll come back maybe in a couple of hours and see if anything else happens. All right, everyone, let's go look for more flooding today. This, I honestly think it receded a little bit since I was here. It's going down fast. Free car wash. We're gonna drive through it one more time because that's fun. Right here at the base of Mount Washington, we have a beaver issue. This road has been flooded like this for, I'd say, many, many years. Last summer, it was underwater almost all summer, so the DOT just put that large gravel on the side of the road so it doesn't erode. This is a normal flood, but it's way too far underwater to get. Washing all the salt off the car, that's good. All right, everyone. Another minute down the same road, you can see there's a whole bunch of erosion right here on the right. That's from water crossing over it very rapidly. There's not even a culvert at this location, but maybe they should add one. This is the culvert right here, which might have a blockage on it. Let's pull over. Let's get out and take a look. All right, everyone, let's take a look. The water was crossing up here, caused a bunch of erosion damage. Look at that. That's why further down the road we saw where they have the beaver issue I mentioned went on all summer last year. I must have gone down this road maybe 3 times throughout the summer. It was always flooded, even on a sunny day. So here we got water coming out. Maybe it's just undersized pipe. It might be. It might be. It might not be blocked. There's a good amount of water coming out of that right now. That is very small. But hopefully someday when they replace it, they'll put a bigger one in. Let's go have a peek over on the other side. This is a snowmobile trail. In this area of New England, the snowmobile trails usually are open through the month of April. Nope. Snowmobiling season has been discontinued. And this is one, unfortunately, we absolutely cannot touch because this is a wooden bridge that the snowmobile trail's going over, and the culvert probably starts about here. So, yeah, there could be so much debris packed under this bridge. That bridge has to be lifted up by an excavator when this thaws to access the pipe. So, can't get to this one. Let's take a peek, though. Can we see anything? I'm putting my knee down into this nasty suds. The suds is created by organic material. Can't see anything with that beam in the way. But I'm guessing there's a big blockage. Let's zoom in, look at the foam, see it slowly collecting as the water goes by. Got a little bit of that suds on my knees. It's okay. Doesn't smell like anything other than soil. Look at that. That's another blockage waiting to come down here for next time after they unclog it. All right, everyone. We're going to continue, see what else we can find before the sun goes down. The sun's coming out a little bit, and the mountain's starting to look pretty. It's got a giant cloud surrounding the entire mountain. Lots of fog going on up there. grass just enough to throw it up over the windshield and clean us off. Beautiful view. What you're seeing is the shadow of the other mountain over here that the sun just went down behind. So, is there a culvert down there or something we can get to? Maybe. Maybe it's too deep. I see the marker for it. Look at all the sand and sediment here. All this sand and sediment probably gets washed down from the mountain. So, what's down there? Is it a storm drain grate or is it a culvert? Regardless of what it is, it might be caked underneath so much gravel that they might have to go ahead and get an excavator for this one. It might be too deep for the big high boots. And it might be too dangerous to even get down to. Well, I'm gonna get the rake, give it a try with the rake. But first I wanna go ahead and go across the road and I wanna see what size pipe we're dealing with. It's probably an 18-inch pipe. Right here's a beautiful beaver pond. Further downstream there's a man-made dam that they leave open in the winter, the discharge, so it doesn't fill up and break the dam when it freezes. It is filled up by accident right now because the discharge got clogged by, this is the Saco River that's running through here, but this far up along it, it's small enough that beavers can permanently dam it and floods don't wash out the beavers. I do see footprints. The DOT was out here investigating this one before. So lots of sediment here. All these rocks you can tell have been forced through that pipe. It does look like an 18-inch pipe. They need to come down here with an excavator and from the pipe dredge it out a little bit, because during times of low flow, it having to come up like this, low flow, things will get stuck. Sediment will build inside the pipe and harden. So when there's high flow, now the pipe's only half available, and if it's settled down enough, that won't erode very easily either. So someone else has been down here, probably the DOT. The grass is starting to turn, and we're getting ready for spring, but we're not supposed to be yet. Not until the middle of May. Trees aren't supposed to grow leaves in this climate. But this winter was not much of a winter. We'll get the rake out and try a little bit, but I'm not confident. Not very confident, but let's give it a try. I'm gonna try from the other end. I'm gonna poke at it. I'm more likely to push through the clog with this than this. All right, everyone, I just hit the pipe. It might have an internal blockage. I want to go back to the other side and see if any improvement has occurred. But you saw water is coming out the other side, so eventually this will subside where it would probably be easier to find. So the water now is so murky, can't really see what you're doing. Although when I started, you can't see anything either. Poking around down there, I'm feeling something bumpy. Could be a rock, but I think it's the corrugated pipe. It appears like it's flowing so slow that my murky water hasn't even started coming out yet. And we got some woodpecker holes right there. Must be some tasty bugs in that dead tree. All right, everyone. Now let me show you what I was just talking about. Below the Beaver Dam, there is a man-made dam. It's a temporary reservoir, basically just for people to go fishing. That's all it is for tourists. Because it doesn't naturally have fish, they have to stock it every single year. Right here is another culvert. Right here is another culvert that's always full of sediment, just like you saw that pipe I attempted. That parking lot's full of some sediment. It just comes down the steep mountains. So right here, they actually had to just rebuild a good portion of this because a giant storm damaged it and washed it out. If we zoom in a little bit, you see the dam has a whole bunch of debris against it, blocking the discharge, and that's why the pond is like halfway full. It should be completely empty this time of year, but the high flow has gone ahead and put a whole bunch of debris. And actually, let me show you something else. Let's just flip it around. To show how high the water was, this whole dam at some point must have been underwater. Because if we zoom in, look at these giant tree trunks right there. It just shows how much this river flooded. And the Saco River isn't even that big at this point. If I drive 2 miles, we can see the start of this river. And it's such a small stream that it fits through a 4-foot pipe. Now across the road here, do you see all that sediment right here? You see how there's gravel all over the parking lot? You see that gate right in there? That gate underneath it, the ground is all lumpy. It's covered in gravel and rocks that got flushed down the mountain. And it usually plugs a pipe here. When that was occurring, this road probably had water going over it, it looks like. It looks like they did some temporary dredging just to get the pipe working. Now we're about to drive up a very beautiful road right here. I'll show you a couple of cool things along the way, because it's about to get too dark. We won't find anything, I don't think, in this area by the time we get home. It'll get dark in an hour. If you see up there on the mountain, there's like a little ledge. That's the North Conway Scenic Railroad. We'll take you up on that train track. Right now, that train track, they don't use it because it's too hard to keep open in the wintertime. I think they have a Polar Express ride, but I don't believe it even goes on that track. Right now, that track is still buried beneath so much snow. Sometimes little avalanches will bury parts of it in such deep snow it can't reopen for a while. That railroad track has pretty bad maintenance because it's taken care of and run by volunteers for the most part. Most of the surrounding areas, because it's been so warm out, don't have any snow left. Right here is a lot of snow because the majority of the day the sun doesn't shine here because it's down inside this deep crevice between the mountains. So it's a bit colder here. We got some nice ice formations right here. We got a beautiful waterfall coming up in a moment. Right up here to the right. All right, everyone. Here's the first waterfall, which looks like it's called Silver Cascade. It looks like this waterfall probably got high enough that it went over the road because there's a bunch of sand and stuff all over the place on the other side of the road. And there's one more waterfall right here. it's a double lane road, so it's okay that I'm going a little slow in this lane. This one is called Flume Cascade. There's also some erosion evidence here, but it doesn't look like it's from the actual waterfall. All right, everyone. So this parking lot here is for that second waterfall, so you can view it. You can see a little train bridge up there. They carved a shelf on the whole mountain for that train. And right here's a beautiful view. I think this is what they call Crawford Notch. Good view. I think the views of Mount Washington are better though. You can see Mount Washington a little bit coming up that hill. You can't see it at this moment, but I'm turning around because I want to show you all the sand I think that waterfall put all over the parking lot. The snow's pretty deep here. Try not to get stuck. I'm not in four-wheel drive. That's what it is. Yeah, I am stuck. Alright. Four-wheel drive. That'll get us out. Alright. Four-wheel drive got us out. Shut that off. Okay, here's the first waterfall. Or this is the second one I showed you because we just drove up the hill. Now here's the parking lot for people who want to take pictures of the second one. You see the cone over there to the left? I believe that waterfall was overflowing or something into the road. They cleaned up the sand and stuff all over the road. But you see over here, it made potholes. It eroded all the soil out of the median, it looks like. And came over here. Looks like it eroded the edge of the parking lot. Or that may not actually be it. Over the years, the New Hampshire DOT keeps repaving these roads, but when they repave them, they're not milling, they're not ripping anything up. They just put another layer of asphalt right over the other one every other year, it seems. So if we look here at this curb, that curb isn't really sticking up much above the pavement. So I think that's probably why it eroded. It probably wasn't the waterfall, it was just water collecting from the road, since the curb isn't really doing anything. Because believe it or not, these state highways in New Hampshire probably have over a foot thick of asphalt because they just keep layering it over and over again without ripping any of it up. Is there any benefit to that? In my opinion, not really, because when it erodes or they have to get to some utility or culvert underneath it, it's just going to be a bigger mess, I think, to get to. Now you see all the gravel all over the road here. That waterfall may very well have came out. It may have. But for some reason they're not raising the curbs up every time they repave. That's why there's barely any curb showing. Right here, there's a massive culvert pipe going through this canyon because the Saco River is now underneath us. It used to go through this canyon, but now that the road's here, there was no space for the river, so they had to put the river underneath the road. And here's the train track coming out of that crevice. That crevice probably has a wall of 4 feet of snow still laying on the track because it can't melt in that little crevice. The sun doesn't shine there. I see a bunch of cones right here. This culvert may not have been able to handle it, may have been going over the road also. Right here is called Saco Lake. Even though it looks like a small pond, they consider it a lake, and that's where the Saco River officially starts. There's a bunch of small streams feeding that. Sometimes the whole lake will flood if the streams are entering it fast enough. Everyone, I just want to show you this cool machine. I've never seen anything like this. We're on the same road looking around at flooding and storm damage. This machine right here. It's got these cool triangular tracks. It looks like they might be able to replace those with tires for the right situation, but now because it's snow and muddy, this is probably the best choice. It looks like it's got a large boom with a saw on the end of it for maybe cutting things away from the power lines. That's really cool. Very interesting. Where that machine just was, this is like an old section of the highway. Look how much they've regraded it since the 90s. I can't even come out here. I believe this is probably used as a snowmobile trail now. I'm gonna try to turn us around now. Probably gonna take like a 9-point turn or something. So this is the old road. Now the new highway is right down there. I've showed different roads like this where I've explored the abandoned sections of it, but never this area before. See, now that I've turned around, this is the old road. It's probably 20 feet in elevation above the other one. It looks like some deep excavator tracks in the pavement there. Yeah, look how overgrown it is. This used to be a 2-lane road. You can still faintly see the yellow line. The power line still follows the old road though. Right here, looks like it's just a snowmobile trail. I just want you to see how rugged it looks. Yeah, look at that. I'm not gonna try going up there. That looks like sheer ice. Turn it around again. Very interesting. So this is the old road from back in the day. A lot of older roads, even if they were paved, they're very curvy, lots of ups and downs. They like to replace them with what they call a state highway, which they cut out all the mountains and they use all of the mountains they cut down to fill in the valleys. Very interesting. And I see there's a gate. So you're probably not allowed to drive in here in the summertime. Nothing says I can't drive in here now, but I am assuming that these are snowmobile trails. And that's a little tiny bridge right there. I'm not going to try driving across. I just don't want to slide off it at the moment. So now I'm backing up. I only drove in here because I saw it open when I came to check out this cool machine. Now we're heading back out to the road again. Another minute down the road. This looks like, yep, it's paved. This is another section of the old road. Never knew these were here. That looks like more snowmobile trails, hiking trails that we just drove by to the right. There's some other tire tracks, so I'll take it. Interesting how the power lines still follow this road instead of the old one, instead of the new main road. Look how overgrown it is. That pavement you're seeing still goes way off into the sides, but only one lane's open because I doubt many people have a need to pass each other. Here's a big hole. A little deeper than expected. Got some thick mud here on top of the road. Is this gonna come back over to the highway? Or it looks like I gotta turn around. Yeah, it's a dead end. It's okay. So this road is probably only kept open for the power company, can get to the power lines easier. Probably the only reason it still exists. And the pavement probably still goes on into the trees, just no one goes here anymore. Take a look at this right here next to the river. The road's about to slip on in. Those deep marks in the pavement there. About to slide in. approaching our first location once again. Let's see if the water's actually off the road like I think it would have been. Yep. Now let's see if the water has receded enough that we can access the blockage safely without worrying about the dangerous pressures. It's completely off the road, but is the water low enough where we can get to the pipe? Maybe not, because I can see the water. It's only gone down like a foot below the road's crown. Get out and take a look. All right, let's take a look. Water levels are still pretty high, so we might not touch it. The road crew is gonna have to come out here with an excavator probably. Lots of cracking from frost heaving. No more water going over the road. It's down a bit, but because it's such a large pipe, it's still very dangerous to go near it. It's basically the same pressure as before because it's only gone down about a foot. But now it's finally able to fit in the pipe even with the debris. So there's probably a little bit of debris blocking maybe a third or a quarter of it. Pretty new. That might just be the patchwork. I don't know if that's actually the culvert or not. Now we can actually see what's going on. Earlier today, we had water cascading off that. That looks very nice. I love that power that we see here. Let's get down close and we can look inside. We won't be able to see anything though. Wow, that's actually really cool. You can see the daylight through the dirty water. Let me zoom in and get another look. Can we focus in down there? There we go. Look at that yellow waterfall down there. So it does look like there's a little bit of a blockage. Maybe 25% of the pipe. Not huge, but during a flood it can make a huge difference. Now, even when a pipe is at absolute capacity, it may not be completely filled to the brim at the other side, because eventually there's a break point. What I mean by that is, as it goes through a smooth pipe, whether or not it's concrete like this, plastic, round, or square, it goes faster. It's entering at this speed, but once it hits the smooth pipe, it accelerates. So eventually, at some point, even when if this thing was fully open, maybe to this point, it would start getting a little bit of air, because as it's speeding up, it no longer needs the full diameter of the pipe. If you get what I mean by that. So even at capacity, you would never see it fully going like that. When they're powerful like this, it'll suck anything through. I think I saw it. I hope today's video was interesting, everybody. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. And we're out of here. No splashing this time.